Hey, what is up everyone, this is PvT-Mitten's and welcome back to my continuing series. This is episode 4, I believe. Without further ado, let us begin. If you didn't catch the end of the last video, we are doing F.e.a.r, which I will explain what F.e.a.r is when I'm going through the video. F.e.a.r 1 was released in 2005 for the PC, 2006 for the Xbox 360, and 2007 for the PlayStation 3. Now, it's currently sitting on an 88 on Metacritic, which shows how highly rated it is. F.e.a.r is a horror shooter. That's the best way of putting it. It has some of the best combat you'll ever see in a shooter. It's got the best AI ever put into a video game. And it's coming from the developer Monolith Studios, which for anyone that has heard that name and it sounds familiar, they're the ones that also did the Condemned series, which also has superb AI, and also did the Middle-earth games for the PS4, Xbox, and all that there. Which also has good AI. So, just goes to show, what the AI is like in this game. It has supernatural, features in the game, which I'll touch upon when I want to give my idea, but for anyone that doesn't know, check out my review I did last year for it on the PlayStation 3. Now, F.e.a.r 2 released in 2009 on PC, 360, and PlayStation 3. It's sitting at a 79 on Metacritic, which I don't agree with. I think it should be a lot higher than that. It's my personal favorite in the series. Yes, the combat's not as good as the first game, but it beats the first game in every other way. Story, supernatural elements, the horror, all that there. And F.e.a.r 3 came out in 2011. It's 74 on Metacritic, and this was the only F.e.a.r game not to be done by Monolith Studios. It was done by another studio called Day One Studios, which F.e.a.r 3, it's a good game, just not a good F.e.a.r game. It feels like it wasn't supposed to be a F.e.a.r game at first. But let's have a quick talk about the F.e.a.r games and then my idea. As I stated about F.e.a.r 1, I'm not going to spoil anything, but it involves obviously supernatural elements in the game. Also, the combat, as I said, the AI is unbelievable. You have to play it to understand. F.e.a.r 2 did the same thing, except it improved upon everything but the AI. For some reason, the AI didn't seem as smart as the first one. I mean, they would use the environment more often as cover, like they'd flip a table or push over a vending machine or something, but never had the same quality AI as the first one, which I think was a shame. F.e.a.r 3, on the other hand, you had the option of two characters. One played your run-of-the-mill, run and gun shooter. The other one, on the other hand, had supernatural abilities, which was actually pretty cool. I mean, it's probably the best thing the best thing about F.e.a.r 3 is this character, just to play as him. But as I said, it doesn't feel like a F.e.a.r game. It actually feels more like a game that Warner Brothers had in development and just thought, let's slap the F.e.a.r 3 name on it. But Day One Studios did a good job anyway. I'm not gonna bag them. They made a good game, just not a good F.e.a.r game. But now let's get to what I would like to see, and I know this is going to be a while because I have a pretty good idea what I would like to see. So let us know what you think. But anyhow, what they need to do is do not continue F.e.a.r. F.e.a.r 4 can't be made because F.e.a.r 3 did too much damage to the story, and I don't think we're going to need to see F.e.a.r 4. They need to reboot the series. So what I think they should do is, as I said, reboot the series, but rebooting the series, in my idea, would be this. How about, we'll do a bit of fan fiction here so I can give you a rough idea of what I'd like to see for the story. But how about have you play as an armed security guard at a facility on an island, right? Now the island's big, it houses its own city, population and that there, but you're a security force, right? But you don't know what you're guarding, hence, Alma. You don't know what you're guarding. you and the other workers that are there, working with the same company, think you're just guarding high-tech weaponry, right? Now, how about the fact that, you start the game off, you're this character, have this character, go around the office on, say, his lunch break or something, he's interacting with other characters, saying hello and all that there. And then, shit hits the fan, Alma escapes, but, you don't know what the hell's going on, and she shuts the lights off, right? Because F.e.a.r 1 and 2 used a lot of emphasis on, the lighting effect, and I think this is what F.e.a.r, if they rebooted F.e.a.r, this is what they could do. Have that there, but she shuts the lights off, right? And you're thinking, as the character, what the hell's going on? So you've got a flashlight as akin to your pistol. Now, what I would do is you have the flashlight, like Doom 3's kind of flashlight, and you use that to look around. But you've got a pistol, like, say for instance, every shooter you play nowadays always has a hub, tells you how much ammo's your weapon you're holding, your health, all that shit, right? How about when you're in this form, not form, but when you're using, as a security guard more or less? It doesn't tell you how much ammo you've got. It's like, playing with the HUD off, sorry. And they think, people think, oh, that's a stupid gaming idea. I think it's a great because they can implement it this way. He doesn't know what, how much ammo's in his gun and all that there. He actually, his, talking to you will tell you what's left in it. For example, he's using his pistol, and say for instance he's got a few rounds left in the clip. He can go, I'm almost out. Giving the player an idea that he's almost out of ammo. Now, also, what I would do to implement it later on is, for example, you continue on, you're trying to find, the power, you switch it back on, you're thinking what the hell's going on, right? And then Alma starts to appear. But have Alma appear the way she did in F.e.a.r 2. See, in F.e.a.r 1, Alma was there, and she wasn't there enough. She felt like she was, oh look, there she goes, walking past, that kind of thing. Now, for anyone that hasn't played F.e.a.r 2, I'm not going to spoil anything, but at least with F.e.a.r 2, do I need to mention how good the skill level was? Like, the way she'd fuck around with you in that, and the way you got the apparitions doing that. Do that, but have it on a higher scale. For example, have the character, like, have like a stress meter, right? Say that you've got, like, Sniper Elite, where you had the heart rate meter. The higher it was, though, you could just not aim. It was really hard to do it, and you weren't able to do, his slow-mo. Or in, say, Metal Gear Solid 4, the stress meter would make Snake, harder to aim for his weapons, and also harder for him to stealth. How about in this, the stress meter, the stress meter actually plays a role by making your character, the higher the stress is, the more they'll see of Alma and more apparitions and supernatural elements. Like, for example, you first encounter Alma, it could be, you hear someone crying, you walk up and you're like, what's wrong, oh, that kind of shit, and, boom, that's when it begins. But have it where the stress affects it, which I'll I'll touch upon later on, more into it. Now, have Alma interact with the character throughout the game, like, as I said for the stress meter, I would have, like, say for instance, you got like headset on you, right? That you play, listen to music. Say for instance, just for talk's sake, I know they won't get this group because I think Sony owns the rights to the group, but get ABBA into it. Say the character likes listening to ABBA, he makes a reference at the start of the game, right? Doesn't have to be ABBA, just for example. And have him turn around and he uses the the headset as an actual way to relieve the stress, but at the same time it can be a double-edged sword. The higher stress is, and you use this headset, Alma will actually start talking to you through the headset. She'll be like, what are you listening to, or can I listen, something like that there. Really, give it that stress where you can't just leave it on all the time. And for the combat, I'll get to later, which will also go towards this here. you meet Alma, all that there, and your whole objective of the game is to try and escape the facility. But what your character doesn't know is that's what Alma's trying to do. She's trying to escape the facility. Have it where, for anyone that hasn't played the first F.e.a.r game, Alma was more or less a test subject. She was the daughter of one of the owners of the facility, which I always thought was stupid. What they should have done, which what I would do if they were to reboot it, have the character, she's just born into a family and she's lucky enough to have psychic abilities, and that can be touched upon later on in a sequel or something, and have her character was, taken away from her, her mother and father, and that's what makes her so pissed off and more or less me against the world kind of thing. She's trying to get out, but she's tormenting the character because, just for the fun. It's her way of having fun, and she's using you, to try and get out of the facility. She's not telling you where to go and all. You've got to do that yourself. But that's what I would do. Now let's get to the combat. Ramp the difficulty of the combat up like the first one did, except implemented a lot better than what the first one did. What I would have is the AI, have it like the first one where you've got the, the AI can retreat, do different tactics, but also have them, as I said about the stress meter, how about the enemy taunt you in battle? Say for instance they're hiding behind a wall, and they're sitting there saying like, oh come on out, or start making chicken noises, to try and piss you off as the actual player, but to actually stress out the character and implement the stress meter more and more. Have a cover system. Now, before anyone says anything, I don't mean a cover system, akin to like Gears of War or Uncharted or anything. I mean a cover system like Killzone 2, where it was more of a realistic cover system. Have that there, but have destructible cover in the game, because you've got the ability in F.e.a.r to use tables, push over vending machines, push over different things like that there. Have that in it, where she's able, where your character is actually able to not stay behind it too long because it'll be destroyed, and vice versa. Also with the enemy AI, as I said about the stress meter, how about as I said about wearing the headset, how about your character when they're wearing the headset, another reason for a double-edged sword, not to overpower the headset, to relieve the stress. You can't hear what the enemy's saying, so they could be like, oh, he's listening to music, let's flank him, that kind of thing. Also, like, why not just, as I said about, Alma being in the game, because she has to be, it's her fucking series more or less, but have her character, the more and more stress comes up, for example, she'll start playing around in the combat as well. For example, you could be sitting there shooting enemies down a hallway or something, and the next minute, the lights start flickering, and she's standing in the middle of the enemies, giggling, and the enemy's like, what the hell's going on? And they turn around and gives you a chance to do that there. Or she could help the enemies. Like, you could be in a really dark corridor with lights, for each end of the corridor for you and your enemies. She switches their lights off, and it means it can bring in enemies with, they could be like, oh, the lights are off, quick, call for backup. And one of the enemies they can call in for backup could have infrared, night vision, something like that there. But for any long-time F.e.a.r fans, you're probably thinking, what about the reflex ability? Now, for anyone that hasn't played it, reflex was ability which allowed them to slow down time, which, how they implemented it in the other games, you were experimented on. That's how you got the ability. What I think they should do, and this also applies to, remember I said about the HUD, your character is just a security guard. Say for instance he's walking past the armory, remember he thinks he's just guarding, advanced weaponry. He looks at the armory and goes, oh, they get all the fun. They've got a helmet that actually tells you how much ammo you've got, your health, all that there, and by the way, no regeneration health, but anyway, tells you all the ammo and all that there you've got. Later on, your character gets that, and that means they don't have to use the flashlight. They've got the flashlight on the helmet, tells them all that there. But the enemies are able to actually chuck EMP grenades to set the helmet off, meaning for a few seconds, like say 10 seconds or something, you're using the old way again without knowing your health and all that there, and your ammo. Alma could also affect this. She could, the stress up, she could actually start playing around with the HUD. Doing the same, she could, like, say for one minute, your rifle could say 30 rounds in the clip. Sorry about that, PlayStation has a limit of recording audio, but anyway, 30 rounds in the clip, say 250 left over. How about she starts affecting that as well, where on your HUD it says 99 rounds and 9,000 rounds left over, and your character's sitting there going, what the hell's going on, kind of thing. Have it where your character can actually take the helmet off if they need to relieve stress because she's affecting it too much. Have it where she comes on screen, like on your actual HUD visor, and starts talking to you and going like, yo, what are you doing? All that kind of shit. And you actually have to take your helmet off and play the old-fashioned way without the HUD to relieve your stress as well. Another stress meter that could also help relieve. For anyone that's played F.e.a.r before, probably thinking, how am I gonna... I haven't mentioned the reflex ability yet. For anyone that doesn't know, the reflex ability was essentially like Max Payne's slowdown time. But unfortunately with F.e.a.r, what they did was they made it too easy in the game. Once you got it, you were untouchable. Even on some of the higher difficulties, you were just a complete wrecking ball. Have it where it doesn't regenerate. You have to pick up, something to regenerate it, just like you would your health packs. But have it where the enemy can use it, or certain enemies, for example. Have it where, because you're a security guard, you haven't got the ability. The enemy, it first introduces one of these enemies, make it like a boss fight when you first see one of these enemies, where they've actually got like a chip in their helmet that allows them to actually use reflex. Reflex affects you by, essentially slowing you down, allows them to move at the same time, like you would be using it on the enemy. Only difference is because you're the player, you have a bit more health kind of thing. And once you beat them, you get the chip, put it in your helmet, bang, away you go. You've got the ability now. Have it where this could also, reflex helps relieve the stress because, your character knows, he's going to be safe more or less. But you got the, as I said, you got the slow down time kind of thing, which allows them, have to find stuff to regenerate the actual thing, meaning you can't just use it over and over, but have it where if the enemy's using it and you use it, it just cancels each other out. Or for example, if they come into a room and they use it, slow you down, you can activate yours to actually cancel it out and put the time back to normal. Or the enemy can use it on you to get you a surprise, and if you haven't got any of it filled, your stuff, because they've got now the upper hand on you. Vice versa, for example, if you do it on them quickly enough, you can take their whole entire team by surprise. That's what I would do. As I said about the supernatural and the enemy combat, what I would do for the enemy combat is have them where, as I said, they could taunt you, all that there, but Alma can affect them as well, and you. For example, if your stress is getting way up, Alma actually comes to you. Whether she helps you or not can be completely random. For example, she could appear and just be like standing in the middle of the enemies behind them. They can't hear her, but she's sitting there giggling. Or she could appear and they could actually see her and they're like, what the hell? And they turn their guns to try and get her. Gives you the chance to quickly get them. Or she could work against you, for example. As I said, the stress meter, drops up. You start dropping your clips. Your character starts seeing things he's not supposed to see, kind of stuff like that there. Or if you're in a dark, tunnel, hallway, whatever, and you got the lights, the enemies can shoot the lights to turn, the tide of battle in their favor, and they're going to be like, oh, he can't see, call him back up, and allows them to call him back up, which, for example, they can bring in an enemy that has night vision, which can be told by the green, lenses where the eyes are, or they can infrared, which obviously red lenses for the eyes are, and that can help them in battle. Or you can do it to them. For example, you shoot the lights out and they're like, oh, I can't see, gives you the quick enough time to try and react and get rid of them as quickly as possible. But Alma can actually do this for both of you. For example, she can stuff around with you. For example, you wipe out a team, you come around the corner, and she could actually start playing around and pretending she can put the voice on of one of the soldiers and make it sound as if the soldiers are still there, or they're in another room and you're getting ready, you're reloading, checking you've got everything in order, and you go in there, no one's there, and she starts giggling, she goes, I fooled, and she actually says to you, I fooled you. Now, that would be really beneficial to the series and, the supernatural element. Also, the stress meter, over time, your character can actually have a mental breakdown, for the story. Hence the ending of the game. Your character could either realize, if I escape, she escapes, or, something like that there, and end up killing themselves, or they let themselves be locked into the facility to stop her from escaping, which in turn someone could come and see what's going on, and that's how she gets out into the city from the island. But another thing I'd like to see in the combat real quick is, imagine how awesome it would be if you're sitting there shooting and your stress meter's up and your character's so stressed that he starts dropping clips when he's trying to reload, or if he's reloading his shotgun, he starts fumbling and dropping the shells onto the ground when he's trying to pick them up. Or if we're using, for example, instead of gun butting for the melee, hence because he's a security guard, he has a baton. Say the stress meter, he's using the baton and he uses it, and the next minute he thinks he's holding a severed arm, and he drops it out of panic and it lands on the ground and he sees it's just a baton. Along the lines of that there. But there's other things I could go on about, like, for example, different enemy types that you can use different things. Enemies could use EMP grenades to shut your HUD off for a certain amount of time. Just different stuff like that. But if I was to go on, this video would go on for absolutely ages. So I hope you guys enjoyed my suggestions. Let us know what you think in the comments, whether you'd agree with me or not. But yeah, this is Private Mittens. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for the next episode. Take care, guys. See you later.